the Jake Burger triple, that was a sight to behold.
One has to really question at this point if it's just the power of the mustache at this point. You can't really quantify what a good, powerful mustache can do for a man. There's some guys out there that you get that mustache on them and they just become a totally different guy and they really become unstoppable. And we're starting to wonder here now, is Jake Burger now that guy? And we're going to have to continue to monitor this as more details emerge, as we say here in the business.
Yeah, it's an interesting theory. I mean, it worked for Dylan Cease last season. You've seen, I believe Matt Davidson has deployed the mustache strategy in the past that led to some positive results. It's something that
let's not forget about Jose Valentin. That's an all-time White Sox mustache there.
That's another one. But this Burger mustache might go down in the White Sox Mustache Hall of Fame is what I'm trying to get to here, Steve. Yeah, it's definitely changed his game, so to speak.
And, just that power stroke that he's got coming along with it here since coming off the IL, it's really like he has not missed a beat at all. And I'm still fascinated by the fact that we're continuing to do this thing where one of the team's best and most productive run producers is hitting in the second cleanup spot. It's a bold strategy, certainly, Pedro. Not necessarily one that I would utilize personally.
Let's just talk about this lineup again, because that's not even the most egregious thing here, in my opinion.
What are you defining as the most egregious?
I still think that Tim Anderson has no business leading off with the slump that he's in right now.
Okay, that's okay. I'll give you that one.
I mean, outside of, I believe, Hanser Alberto and Andrew Vaughn, and Timmy's raised his batting average a couple of points here over the past 2 days with a couple of hits tonight. He had a couple of hits yesterday, I believe, as well. I think we've almost seen a 20-point increase in his batting average in just these past 2 games.
All singles, though.
They're all singles. And I know he hit the ball in the first inning to left field, which is new for him. But you can't really send anything out there with Quan patrolling left field. He's going to track that shit down, no problem. I'd like to see Timmy slot down in this order. I'd like to see Burger slot up. I don't know if it's Benintendi's your answer in the leadoff spot right now, but definitely been hitting more doubles than Tim Anderson at this juncture. I don't know what your thoughts are here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, neither of those guys are going to hit a home run anyway, so I guess they're sort of interchangeable. But I'd like to see Tim Anderson start driving the ball and worry less about the whole just hit a single thing. And I think if we slot him down in the order, it might, give him a little bit of a spark.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea at this point from everything I'm kind of hearing. That is just essentially a non-starter for whatever the reason is. I think the idea of Noodle Boy and his 85 mile an hour exit velocity doubles, being in the leadoff spot. I mean, it's just kind of is what it is at this point. I saw some people in my little sphere on twitter.com suggesting maybe Yohan Moncada in the leadoff spot. We saw that experiment back in, I want to say that was 2018. And that's not really a path I'm looking to go down again, to tell you the truth. So I guess you probably do want to just go with Noodle Boy at that spot. The other thing too is, I mean, Jake Burger hitting below Andrew Vaughn. I know Vaughn, left the yard here this evening, but Vaughn's slug dipped below 400 yesterday. There's no reason that Jake Burger should be hitting below him at this juncture here. Again, given that he has been one of the guys that has consistently produced power, which this team has so desperately needed for much of this season and into last year. So there's no reason for him to be hitting in the 8th slot here. So there's a lot of things that I would personally rearrange from a lineup construction standpoint. But, Pedro, I guess, has his thought process on all of that, and it's an interesting one, and I guess that's the nicest way I can put it.
Yeah, there's some interesting comments coming in here as well. Berger is my first baseman from Voodoo. I wanted to probably bring this up more on a Sunday Fun Day show, but the Andrew Vaughn thing right now is sort of a redundant piece and the most redundant piece amongst the couple of guys who are going to be, vying for at bats here as soon as Eloy Jimenez comes back. So maybe that's some foreshadowing on a further discussion there. But Steve, you have any sort of thoughts on what we're going to see with Andrew Vaughn's at bats when this roster gets closer to full capacity?
I mean, from everything that we've seen and heard to this point, I mean, they're going to, continue to ride out Andrew Vaughn. I mean, this is a guy that was, a number 3 pick in the draft, and they've really staked their claim to him organizationally. And look, I think the lost development time from the COVID season hurt him a lot. And I know a lot of people don't want to really talk about that, but we're seeing it here. And you would think that by this point, a guy that is in his 3rd full season at the major league level, that we would see more power production at this point. I'm trying to pull up, as of right now here. I mean, there's just not enough slug there, and everybody wants to talk about the weighted runs created plus and everything. And yeah, it's above league average and all, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, there's just not enough slug there. I mean, he's slugging 424 on the year, and that's with tonight's home run. He's got a 109 WRC plus. I'm sorry, that's not enough. I talked about this before the season.
We want more.
Yeah, that's not enough for a right-hand hitting bat only first baseman. That's just not enough. I need that slug to start with a 5. That just doesn't do it for me. So all the talk, and I know I pushed back on this before the season started, and a lot of people, again, were kind of coming at me a little bit. But this whole notion, this belief that just because he was going to be standing on dirt was all of a sudden going to turn him into a masher, I tried to caution people about that. And we're kind of seeing that right now. Hopefully tonight is the kind of thing that gets him going and driving the baseball with a little bit more regularity and being a little bit more of a run producer in the middle part of this order and providing power, because that's what he has to be right now. A 424 slug ain't going to get it done.
Yeah, and that's something that I think we can expand on a little bit deeper into. And hopefully we start to see that slug go up the remainder of this week, as you just said there. But yeah, I'm sort of not comfortable with him being the everyday first baseman at this level that he's playing at right now, when you have other options on this team who are hitting the ball and can offer similar level defense to Andrew Vaughn. But I digress.